Hello, good evening, friends, and welcome to our weekly mastermind. And I hope that this go live, you will get some very good golden nuggets to take back, reflect upon, and deeply implement them in your own life. And the topic for today is how to develop relation with your own invisible world. Do you know that there is an invisible world into which you exist and you're not even aware of it? Exactly the way that if you know the fish doesn't understand what its world is around. Yep. It doesn't understand, although it lives all its life in the ocean, doesn't understand that it is living inside water. And most surprisingly, that when you take out that fish and it gets into delicacies, people have to add salt to it, although all its life it has actually lived inside that salt water. Is it not surprising that the fish hasn't absorbed salt, nor does it ever understands that it is actually truly living inside the water all its life? Exactly how the fish hasn't understood, even we have not understood most of the times of what we are actually living in this world. There are those invisible worlds within our own life, and they exist within our body, and I'm just going to reveal to you right now, right here. Did you know that whatever you are actually hearing to your own heartbeat, do you ever try to hear of your own? Yeah, most of the time we try to hear the heartbeat for somebody else, but it's very tough to know what's our heartbeat. Is it really there? We don't know. Probably we can just catch our pulse and a little bit know about it, but really a heartbeat, very few other than doctors would have not even tried attempting it. Maybe next time around, when you are near a doctor or somebody who's having a stethoscope, don't miss out a reason to pick it up and listen to your own heartbeat. I would suggest take about 3 to 5 minutes and patiently listen to it, because 3 to 5 minutes is at least the time during which you really start to appreciate it. Not in first 1 minute, not in 2 minutes, but little later than that, you realize that this is something that your heart has been beating. Maybe before you were born on this earth, the moment you found a fetus in your mother's womb, you already started beating. This heart hasn't stopped even date if you're listening to this. Is it not surprising that there is something in your body, something in you, which is relentlessly working, whether you understand it or not? It's been decades probably, and it has never stopped, ceased working. And that's the beauty of our body. That's the beauty of this heartbeat. And that's what you will actually recollect when you do that small exercise of listening to your own heartbeat. And in that moment, you get into a state of gratitude for this body and all the mechanisms that are working inside your body, and really appreciate God's creation of our human body, right? So I want you to take that as first exercise, that invisible world that is inside your body, that heart which is actually pumping blood all through your body, and it's beating every second, and which you don't realize probably that it exists. It works so silently, but it's so essential. So here you understand the deeper secrets that what is silent is actually more important than what is actually louder. Mhm. That's a great message. Okay, if you got that, superb. And the second one, which is another invisible body part, which is probably invisible to you for a moment sometimes, is it actually goes away in a blink of a second. Yeah, I'm talking about your eye blink. See, most of the times we're not aware that we are blinking our eyes. It happens so seamlessly, and we actually take it for granted. Played in your childhood, probably, of who hangs on without blinking their eyes longer. And for me, it was many, many years ago. Until I picked up this topic, I wasn't aware as well. Right now, I'm just looking at you and taking. I'm actually aware that there is blinking happening of my eyes when I see through this camera. Otherwise, I was never aware of it. And there's something very interesting about blinking. There's big research, but I'm going to just share with you a couple of things which I've come across. Look, blinking, of course, is very important for lubricating your eyes, protecting your eyes. All that is fine, which we are knowing. But later on, something very interesting got revealed that actually, during the blinking, we are actually taking rest. Yeah, in that microsecond, in that small time, your mind is actually resting. And this is something which is called as wakeful resting. And this, when the team of Osaka University found out, very interestingly, when they were put audience of watching Mr. Bean, and surprisingly, in the study, they found out that we blink close to 15 to 20 times, and there are times when we actually blink, and when the times when you're really attentive. So when the new character comes in, you're attentive and your eyes are wide open and you're not blinking at that time. The moment he's paused or when the action hero isn't there on the screen, you slightly start to blink more. That means you're trying to exercise, take rest, preparing your mind to be more alert later on in that short period of time. Your mind is actually resting. This is what is called as a mega reaction for a micro action. This is how I call it. And in my ebook, I have talked about it a lot. But what I intend to say here is that in that short period of time, your mind understands that it needs rest. Accumulated over a long period of day, that small effort of blinking your eye actually saves your mind from going insane and gives us the kind of rest that is needed even when you're awake. See, of course, sleep is very important, but during awake, when you're around, you don't understand that there is another world which you're going to sleep and come back in a microsecond, which is actually called as the wakeful resting. So, hope you got this new inner world. And if you're surprised and if you found it useful, appreciate the God's gift of allowing us to blink in the moments and taking rest for that. Okay, here I come for my sharing the last of the tips that I want to share today. Of course, this may not be the last, but then there are many more. But today I want to wrap up with this one, which is self talk. Yeah, some of us may be aware of our self talk, some may not. But then the thoughts that are running in our mind, close to 70,000 thoughts a day. And you can imagine if you try to really absorb each one and try to analyze, you may go insane probably. And that's the reason probably your mind filters out a lot of thoughts that they come and unknowingly you just go away. But you understand that we are what we think about. So if you're thinking a lot of negative thinking in our head, and we should not be surprised why our life has ended up not the way we have wanted it, and mostly it has to do with the self talk. And 90% of the time, all we do is self talk. We hardly get a time to talk to people in the 10% of the time, but the rest of the time, you're alone or you're in a meeting. Every time you find an opportunity, you're actually talking to yourself. If the quality of the self talk is stinking, you can imagine your quality of life outside would also be stinking, obviously. So, quality of self talk is very important. There are a lot of books written on it. You can grab one and read it, of course. And what to say when you talk to yourself, then quality, how to improve the quality of self talk. A lot of books are there. You can just grab one, read about it, gives you a lot of insight. But what I say is the best way to improve your self talk is to stop dumping all that junk that is coming on your boob tube, that's the TV, and probably in all kinds of social media, news channels. See, if your input is not good, then the self talk also changes. So you have to actually cut down on the wrong inputs to your mind, and that's when your quality of self talk improves. And if you're Thinking is thinking, your word would be same. So keep your mind in check, and hope this message of top 3 tips. First one is to hear to your heartbeat. Second is watchful about your blinking and be happy about it. Just be watchful about it. Then you can also do that for your breath. You can also talk, self talk is another one which you can do. And if you're careful about all these, I think you will really enrich your life and be very happy. See, the fact of the success is to be healthy, happy, and to be in a state of wealth and well-being are together, right? You can't talk in isolation each of them. Not having a lot of wealth makes you happy. Not just be happy with broke state will not be making you happy. And also health. Got to be, all three should be integrated in order to lead a successful life. Be watchful of your inner world because that's actually controlling your outer world. And thank you for all those who could came on live, and I'm thankful to share my feelings here. If any of you resonate with my thoughts, do comment here. What else is your inner world? Where do you find a bigger peace of mind and value that you can share with other community members here? Would be glad to read your comments. And thanks for it, and have a wonderful week ahead. Thank you, and see you next live on Friday. Thank you. Bye bye.